Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the 9-time GSL champion Terran in the red, the man, the myth, the Maru. Facing off for the first time in a while, the Protoss in blue, we have Creator. In a best-of-5 Protoss versus Terran showdown as part of the playoffs to SC Boys' new Rongyi Cup with $20,000 on the line. And before we get started, it'd be incredible if you could smash that like button or maybe even subscribe. Help me kind of the algorithm. Jimmy, what do we have? 1,787 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. Then the SCV contracted out to build the first command center, as that probe seems to have been able to force it slightly out of position, but the Terrans already accounted for that by being able to actually fly their buildings. So Maru with a Marine first, unlike his top-tier Terran counterpart Clem, Maru is much more focused on the perfect builds and the meticulous macro, as opposed to relying so much on admittedly game-breaking micro. Clem, a very different flavor of Terran, and we already see the difference here as Maru just covering for the shades as the first adept comes across and slips out the scouting heli, and clearly just trying to anticipate exactly this. Pulls back. There's 5 Marines, which is already more than enough to deal with the first adept. Shade will go rub its ethereal nose up against the supply depots. A Raven right off the bat, unprompted, and the scouting heli and gets across and will slip through. Might even be able to get some probe kills, and he already sees the robo. The Twilight is implied if the robo's at this timing, but might as well make sure that implication is less of a suggestion and more of a certainty. Maru crossing his T's, dotting his I's, and running his Hellions right up the ramp. All in the same category. We see already queuing it up. So his camera. I always love the mini-map cameras in the bottom left corner. Not all the time do we have them. It depends on what mods the game was originally played on. But I'm a big proponent of it. One of the best additions in, well, the last like 10 years, but still, we didn't have those at the start. Back in my day, we just had to guess, okay? Is he looking at it? Is he not? Benefit of the doubt. Now, we just have doubt. Like and subscribe for existential dread. And the Raven takes the scenic route all the way around. It's not about getting there quickly. It's about making sure he gets there unscouted, ideally. Any adepts or anything out on the map would have spotted it, but already a bunker back at home. A robotics bay, a Colossus den out of Creator, as both players, this is so different than, oh, the Raven is going to get blunked on and Edgar Allan Poe'd. Nevermore, say the Stalkers, as they knock it out of the sky, anticipating exactly that. And this is such, it's almost like whiplash. I've been watching so much Hero and Clem and Max Packs lately that seeing 2 players play no rush for, well, 5 minutes and counting is such a, it's a little refreshing and also confusing. So, you know, good start to the day. Forge on the way as both players continually poking and prodding to get what information they can, mostly trying to figure out, yeah, Maru is threatening a siege tank push. But Creator should know that that is likely a fake. Yeah, Maru literally comes back behind his bunker, sits down, snuggles up on the couch and says, that's enough for today. All right? I went outside. I waved to my neighbors. They were like, why are you doing that? Why were they outside? It's so cold right now. I'd rather be inside watching winter than outside experiencing it. And that's good. That's a strong sentiment. But I digress. The Blink Stalkers have confirmed that Maru was just poking his head out to see what's there. And now a hallucinated Phoenix will confirm that he's going to be keeping his head in his base for a while longer. A 3rd command center. Barracks 4 and 5 on the way. The triple threat of Stim, Combat Shield, and +1. But I'm really not getting aggressive vibes here out of Maru. I'm getting a 200 supply is a good start vibes. As between the bunkers, well, He has to take a third, of course, eventually. Creator's already taking a fourth base, making very good use of the map control that Blink Stalkers should afford you. It's kind of the point of Blink Stalkers, to always be right at the edge of where the army is. So the moment you move out, they're able to shave away some of the units. Very active scouting. And of course, Creator already setting up with those observers, as he knows the map is dark, potentially full of Terrans. But Maru still sitting back, the observers lining the sides. And nowadays, while they're sieged up, they are technically revealed, but they have the most vision of any unit in the game. They can see, let's go to the actual screen. They can see the entire screen now. So even though they're a little easier to pick off, they are the robot overlords that will replace us all. Well, quite literally in this case, they are just straight up better, besides the fact they don't provide supply. All right, extended thermal lance is on the way, and I'm warming up to things as well. And still, it's been a pretty much scouting / very basic pressure from Maru. Literally one unit at a time and a few Marines shaved away. Creator has lost an probe. And he will be remembered as a hero. But not as Hero, because Hero would have lost so many more. I feel like that's not the first reference we made to Hero, but call it 8 minutes. Here comes Creator with 3 Colossi. Extended thermal lance is done. Maru already literally walling off his third. A Venn diagram of freedom. He built 2 Liberators as his 3rd and 4th starport units. He is, okay, Maru isn't turtling up. He was born as a turtle. He was molded by it. His reptilian nature was established by the time he was already a man, as he started playing at 13 years old. But Creator just kind of goes around the side. And the siege tanks, 4 siege tanks, a bunker, and ooh, Creator digging quite deep here, and possibly too greedily. 11 SCVs, a charge lot dive in. I think I feel like the siege tanks killed more. Maru killed 6 SCVs. Creator killed 5. With friends like these. And now darts into the main base with a few Blink Stalkers, and most of them will be ending up in the Units Lost tab. Creator probing for weak points, but it's not like Maru didn't attack and failed. His entire build has been building out his base. This isn't Age of Empires, but it's hard to distinguish the difference at the moment. Meanwhile, blinks in again. The siege tanks pounding their way through. The charge lots filtered through the tanks themselves. Target fire juggles back a Colossus into the prism. Well played by Creator. And the Bio Army, with the tanks shaved away and the Marauders incinerated. More Liberators coming up. Creator finding some weakness. He's on 4 bases, though Maru has actually more workers. A 5th Nexus is in production. More gates, more Immortals. Some High Templar being mixed in as the Archons are a bit more stable in the face of this much Terran firepower. Of course, this is starting to remind me more of that campaign mission with the laser drill, and Maru doesn't have one of those, but he's got better. He's got Liberators. He pulls the boys to the front line against 4 Colossi, and they ain't getting any hazard pay. He has a hard wall with a command center, and literally a wall on both sides. Okay, Alexander. The Liberators over the top, the siege tanks on the ground, but Creator has the rest of the map to work with. He's trying to press through. The Liberator taking big chunks out of this. The Vikings knocked out of the sky. Maru trying to chase it down. The supply is dead even. And Creator is... how many gates? 10 gates. He's really trying to crack this. And so far, Maru holding strong. But the medevac, because he keeps building a variety pack of starport units, which are the most important ones at this stage of the game, means he has very few medevacs. And that means his Marines and Marauders are in autumn colors. And pretty soon, they're either going to need to go to rehab or to the Units Lost tab. So far, so okay. Yep, that was a sentence. I did. 2-2 is on the way. The production tab, always a little misleading with Protoss and their warpins, but Maru working on progressing to 2-2. He still has equal supply, army as well. And this is just not... you can't even. A location as odd as this How many siege tanks? 5 siege tanks, a couple liberators. Creator really trying to keep the critical mass of these siege units down. But the time for breaking this, I think, has passed, especially with 2-2 now completing. Creator's assault will end, and the tech will progress. But here's the problem. This entire time, Maru has been progressing. He's got 2-2 done. He's got a second starport, a 4th command center. He's stuck on 3 base, but with the power of mules, his income has been similar. And also, Creator really didn't have the worker count until recently. He's adding 4 gas geysers in order to really fill out that tech tree. Though not a single Stargate. He's adding a second forge. Ship weapons is on the way, and that's a big priority for Maru with his starport units, especially the Liberators, but also the Vikings benefiting dramatically from ship weapons. He keeps... Look, the Vendaya scan. He's scanning just to see where the army is. This is full Turtle Terran. Is this Bronze League Heroes, or arguably the best Terran in the history of StarCraft 2? Well... The inspiration is there. Sensor tower, siege tanks, missile turrets, command centers. More command centers than your base can handle. SCV's long-distance body after he took down the rocks. Creator is adding the rest of the upgrades. Maru is just scanning everywhere. Now, how do you lose in this scenario as Maru? The very simple answer is losing a critical mass of your army and getting overrun by mass production. The weapons of mass production that the Protoss can bring to bear. He scans Creator's main. He has 4 orbital commands, and he's using pretty much all of it. Using Ghost to snipe the charge lots. He's using pretty much all of his energy to scan. Because knowledge is power. Guard it wisely. 4 more command centers on the way. The Industrial Revolution, the civic architecture. Maru putting those engineering bays to work. 3-3 reactors and a fleet beacon. No, sorry. Freudian slip. A fusion core is on the way. And I think there's a non-zero chance of battle cruisers, but advanced ballistics liberators are the ultimate turtle unit. You effectively require Tempests to deal with ranged liberators. Look at Creator's vision. Look at it.
I return to serve.
He sees everything. Maybe besides why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And also how to crack Maru's base. He's still not building a Stargate. He's getting the double Ds of destruction. The Dark Templar and the Disruptors. But this is not like a defensive Terran. This is full, pure, uncut Turtle Terran. I have not seen such a commitment. This is freeing up supply. Maru out with this bio army over here. He doesn't want these units. Don't tell them that. But he's getting 3 more racks, but he wants more liberators. He wants more ghosts. He might want... How many siege tanks? 6 siege tanks. Siege tanks? The Great Wall of Maru. How many command centers does it take to wall off this area? Says nobody but this Terran. And a nuclear missile. 4 orbitals in production. 8 orbital commands. Going on 9. Some more tech labs. He missed. This would be... I must go to my people. He dropped a mule on the high ground. There's the fleet beacon. As Creator, after he gave up the attack, now fills in the rest. Maru is maxed out, of course. Creator's been there for a long while. I know I've been ignoring... It's really... Maru forcing Creator clearly into this extreme Supreme late game. I've not seen such a commitment. I've seen Clem play this Turtle Terran style, but only after kind of getting shoved back off the aggressive path. It always feels like Clem wants to go. He's chomping, champing, chalomping at the bit, or even the bite. But nuclear launch detected. Unfortunately, the Ghost is within cannon range, so... Oh! He gets a... Oh! He'll take... You know what? That's probably more damage than the nuke would have done. Oh my. He kills like 3 High Templar, EMPs others, gets a sentry. That oughta... That's not a bad consolation prize. Did he just kill his own siege tank? I mean... You know, I think... What? He is shooting... Get over here. He is literally carving the siege tanks out of his unit composition. He's got 71 SC. No, no! He tried to No. The Maru's eugenics program is continuing as the fully mechanical siege tanks being replaced by ghosts and Vikings, which... It's wild, but also not that crazy at the same time that ghosts and Vikings are... Siege tanks are... They don't jive, all right? Which is a language I speak, of course. But with the rest of the composition, siege tanks not... What is that, an adept? Creator also tried to find a way to get rid of units that are past their expiration date. An adept surviving to 17 minutes. This is the oldest adept in the history of StarCraft 2. And it is gunned down by a ghost. What is this? He has 12 orbital commands. What is wrong with you? 15! This... The solar flare! I apologize for everything I just did. And at the same time, I will not apologize. He just scanned the entire map. Not an exaggeration. He scanned every part of the map that he thought Creator's army could be in. I say map hacks with extra steps. I mean, he just revealed everything. He's gonna send the SCVs out. The solar flare, another wall of missile turrets. The turrets per minute begins to raise. The count skyrocketing like he intends to do. He's got the building upgrades. Building armor about to complete. Neo Steel, no, high-sec auto tracking is already there. How did this sell it? Maru just sent 130 army supply back. Are you kidding me right now? He has 15 orbital commands. Literally, there's nothing Creator can do to deny. I'm just leaving it up. It's too funny. Make it the mega map now. Another nuclear missile. By the way, Creator has 10,000, 6,000 in the bank. So, but, well, barely anything's been lost besides Jimmy's out of here. Jimmy, come back! Disruptor shot. A single Marauder will take it on the chin. EMPs. Oh no. He lost detection for a moment. I don't even know if that... Oh, he has a couple cloak ghosts at the front. A nuclear missile is completing. But Creator, this is... I think this is bullying. He's trying to irradiate Creator with scans. But it's just helping, because Protoss are planned, so... Fires off a nuke, just a zoning nuke. Because Creator will not see that dot. Creator just stormed his own probes to death. That's one way. Well, that's the biggest storm he's gonna hit all game at this rate. Just killed 20 of his own probes with his own storm. Sorry, 13. I don't know. I guess assuming Maru killed the rest somehow. EMPs, some DTs, disruptor shot comes up, hits. There's DTs all over the place. Where's the 24 more scans? There we are. Meanwhile, blinks away. Caduceus, all the fancy upgrades are done. We got DT Blink, we got Caduceus Reactor, we got Advanced Ballistics. I can't help but feel like, even though Creator has infinite money, he can't buy his way out of this situation. He's got 22 warp gates. But what do you even build? The open question. That is not rhetorical. Maru has literally sat here, built 15 orbital commands, enough to scan the entire map simultaneously. And well, he's still got enough in the bank. There's some storms, some disruptors. The last Colossus is toppled, but well, the storm softly, he's repositioning. This is Creator's best chance, I think, with the Bio Army at half HP. The Medivacs have not had time to heal. But I think we've kind of moved past economy into, oh my. Well, this is the most disgustingly beautiful thing. Maru. It goes. There are 9 Liberators with +3 ship weapons, +1 armor. They do incredible amounts of damage. The split. Not ideal. The disruptors keep coming up pretty short. He's building more command centers. I mean, what else would you do when you have over 9,000 minerals? Well, the Liberators are all sieged up. The Stalkers try to blink forward. A single Tempest is in production. The Olympic Rings of Freedom here. Wow, the Protoss army's just gone. The Warp Prism is gone. Interrupts the warp in. Vikings hit the deck. Gonna finish things off in the ground. And, well, there were two warp prisms, though. We had first, but we had second warp prism. 8 Liberators simultaneously. More scans, making sure the DTs don't get anything done. He's outmaneuvering. So overall, in a fight that saw more units lost in that engagement than the rest of the game combined, Maru destroyed 9,300 to 7,900 minerals, 6,100 to 2,500 gas. Creator still has more in the bank, but he only has 2 Robos and 1 Stargate, which is like 5 times less, I think, than he needs. He's trying to attack in. Maru's building 7-8 Liberators at a time. He has the level of production to replenish his army. The Warp Prism bringing in another round. The Vikings will knock it down, but a little late. The Stalkers blinking past. They just stop coming and they don't stop coming. The Liberators continue. Creator never retook the northern base. He's been mining from the 3 o'clock, but well, Creator's at 116 supply, which is not even remotely close to enough. Liberation is at hand. How do you counter that? Vikings, ghosts, Liberators. Nothing to counter the army that is tearing through absolutely everything with 15 orbital commands, a handful of nuclear missiles, and a dogged commitment to the most turtlely Terran that Terran has ever turtled. Sweet liberty. Creator's dead. He's run out of money in the bank. He spent 2 games worth, and it still wasn't enough. As Maru... Can we just look at that? Go back. Come with me. Come with me. We're going on a journey. And here we see Terran in their natural habitat. Enough orbital commands to scan the whole map. Enough mules to mine every mineral. Yes, SCVs have been replaced by automation. But think of the shareholders. Maru with, well, yeah. Yep. Oh no. And it looked completely unbeatable. I'm not one to editorialize. And I am one to lie about not editorializing, but... I mean, the actual answer is Tempest. And more Stargates and Stargate spin-offs than they failed at in the 2000s. you need a ranged option. And it's not easy to control, but just throwing waves upon waves of gateway units in to the fray is how they lost Ire, and how you lose to the Terrans as well. Creator had a real shot to break through with the original gateway army, but he kept going down that road until it ended violently. So yeah, the times we've seen it, I think Classic is the most reliable late-game Protoss to take on Terran. It's a little bit of everything. A little bit of Tempest over there. A little bit of Templar underneath. A little bit of praying your oracles don't die so you can revelate the ghosts. A little bit of making sure you don't have over 80 probes because your army supplies do. It's a balance, all right? Or is it? Check the comments for more. I'm excited to find out. Again, the probe will mildly inconvenience the SCV. And force it to build a little bit off to the side, but Maru again. Gonna go with the Marine first, not bothering with the Reaper. Probe coming on home. Gonna report. Yep, he's expanded again. That's a tech lab. See, I know my buildings. Is that gonna be concussive? No. Just a cyclone? I gotta get started on those siege. The fact that Maru excised the siege tanks from his composition. No one does that. It doesn't feel like something that's done. It's Marines. It's SCVs. You don't shoot your own siege tanks. Maru does. And the beauty of it is, when you kill your own units, I'm not advocating for this, your opponent doesn't see it. So many times players will try to trade away their workers or... What a save! They will try to trade away their workers or their army. Like, you'll see someone go out with a tank push and some bio and all that. But Maru, so he never gave Creator the opportunity, because Creator can't just scan the entire map simultaneously with a mineral-only building, which is a little inconvenient, but he never gave Creator the opportunity to realize he was fully committed to that composition. I feel like if Creator somehow knew that Maru was destroying his own siege tanks to build more starport units and ghosts, maybe he would have spent a little more time considering the Stargates. Or he would have attacked quicker, I don't know. But Maru. So Maru has, like many Korean Terrans, unfortunately, had some wrist issues in the past. Like, once known as the perfect micro Terran, kind of shifted. And I do think that's part of it. It's a slower style to sit your base and build 15 orbital commands. But, it is also a lot less intense than dropping 3 different locations while trying to split your Marines away from Storm and micro 3 different sorts of units simultaneously. No, Maru just says, come at me, bro. And Creator did. Creator, one of those players who sometimes can't help himself, unfortunately. Third base on the way. Blink. About to complete. 3 gates. So not a huge commitment, but enough to maybe put some pressure on. And it looks like this time, Maru, nothing out on the map. Already a Spylon looking for things just like that Raven from last game. The Warp Prism. I did build a Prism with it, which makes this significantly more dangerous. Picks off an LCV, make that 2. Very solid. As long as he gets out, all right? That's the key part of all this. Gonna shave away. Blinks back. Can Ghetto Blink into the prism. Dodges the Cyclone shot. Maybe even gets it. Oh, so close, but it's getting good. Okay. All right. Not the smoothest criminal, but he does get away with murder. So I guess that counts. Gets the Cyclone, gets several SCVs. Maru. Oh, and the medevac! That's huge. Oh, wait. Not as huge. Still dangerous. I mean, the medevac being so badly bruised is obviously a point of concern for Maru at this stage. Oh, it was slightly out of vision. He's stalking, though, as they do. Charge is on the way, 5 more gates, but they have yet to complete, which means Creator doesn't really have the production right now to contest this. His army, 9 Stalkers, an Immortal, an Adept, a single Sentry, which is actually going to be pretty important. That Shield Battery as well will never see the light of day. Gonna warp in some more. Just a single Zealot. Doesn't go for the pylon. The medevac's overhead. Maru just tearing through everything. The Zealot and it. Ooh, I'll leave one behind, but Maru, 9 probes. Many of the Stalkers will be chased down. Medevac knocked out of the sky before the Marines can unload. So a small victory there. And the supply is dead even at 75 apiece. 48 workers as well. Double Immortal drop is the choice. Clear select all army with those observers coming back. 3rd base, nearly completed. We'll see if that's the end of it for Maru. Definitely a more aggressive start. Maybe exploiting, if Creator was looking to cut any corners because of a more defensive Maru. Well, he's not going to be getting away with it anymore. The robotics bay is on the way. The Forge in production. The Immortal drop. And there's no great answer. He can blast through the Marauders. Good micro out of Maru. Gets in a Marauder and keeps the army tied back at home. We're buckling down. The observer in place to spot this. Very, very important observer. Maru didn't scan for it. He may not have noticed it, but now he sees the army. There are 4 Widow Mines. If those wipe out the Zealots, then the rest of the bio might be able to get through this, but this is actually, well, he has 1-1. A 2 upgrade advantage is very helpful. That's a lot of Protoss there, though. This could backfire on Maru. The Stalker's in position. Hold position out of Creator. Trying to make sure that he minimizes the effect. A single Zealot. Saves it with the War Prism. Unfortunately, there's several more Widow Mines, so unlikely to be able to pull that off again. And without the attack upgrades, having a tough time. Well, locks in some of the bio, but the Zealots rubbed up against it as well. Constant aggression here out of Maru. Knocks out the Observer that was walking overhead. Tries to draw the Widowmine hit. Maru unburrows. So far, the Widowmines have done an okay job of all this. Oh no, the Warp Prism is targeted. But that Widowmine just zoning everything out. Maru retargeting, unburrowing. Vikings are here. The Warp Prism forced back. Going to go down in another volley. The Stalkers try to take him out. But Maru is working around the corner. Force fields holding things at bay. A single Colossus almost steps way too far forward. There's still 2 Vikings overhead. Another Observer. I don't know if Maru noticed, but the attacks were coming through. No, the Sentry! Sentries don't have quite the range. They can't outrange Widowmines, but Stalkers very much can. We blink forward to chase. The Marauders to box him out. The dueling across the field. Ooh, playing with Widowmine-based fire. Blunks forward. Maru burrows. And did a complete split from game number 1. Now, constant aggression battling across the field. Maru trying to keep the pressure on and Creator holding the line. What is the end result? Unclear. Well, the result is clear, but no clear advantage. As Creator has his 4th base solidly. 67 probes. He's got Colossi, extended thermal lances halfway there. Templar Archives halfway done. Maru, on the other hand, has the upgrades and a very solid ground army with a lot of starport units. The limiting factor for Terran, especially at this stage of the mid-game, is starport units, which is why Maru's building a 2nd starport. But being able to increment them out and build up the count over time makes it easier and easier to build the right army composition as opposed to scrambling to get some medevacs or Vikings out later on. And Maru, as we already saw, is so good at keeping those key units alive. A factory going out to scout, its time of usefulness as anything but a glorified overlord has ended. Fusion Core is on the way alongside the Ghost Academy, and I wonder how intentional this is. Literally walling off the very back of his base, which is a very common location for warp prisms to try to slip through. Maybe just a convenient spot, but I doubt Maru is going to let a warp prism through the way he's playing. The Stalkers out on their lonesome trying to pick off units, but that's playing with fire right now. Meanwhile, charge lots over to the left side. A few getting cut off at the right. The fourth base will be spotted. A single charge lot. This is a bit of a mess. Scattered charge lots throughout everything. But, so far, not finding much more than a few kills. Though a good scout. The Viking count looking quite healthy for the Terrans and unhealthy for the Colossi. He's got 10 of them. He's got 2 starports now. Ship weapons level 1 about to complete. The Ghosts being added into the composition. Caduceus reactor for those medevacs is on the way. Maru doing a great job. Maru is all about the efficiency of his supply. Not trying to win the war of attrition, trying to dominate it. Which, I'm a little jealous. Ghosts rallying out. Might be cut off by the charge lots, though they're not too bad against him. Gonna pull back. EMPs. Widow Mines will get most of the reinforcement. Or the counterattack, rather. +3 attack has begun for Creator. +1 armor. Feedback. It's a couple ghosts. There's only one ghost with energy here. Storm is just now on the way. But EMP is useful across the board, of course. The Vikings trying to find an angle over the top, and ooh, 2 volleys. The Colossus barely saved by the shield battery and warp prism. And Maru? This time around, the best defense is a good offense. So, capable of 2 different philosophies to achieve the same ends. The army, disruptors, will clip a couple marauders, make them very uncomfortable. More command. Oh no. It begins. The command center count continuing to raise. 4 CCs. I need 4 CCs of orbital command. Stat. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Don't worry about it. Big job, huh? Maru keeping tabs on the army and more than ready. He's got zoning sensor towers. 5 more command centers. Well, he's retreating into his shell. We had our back and forth aggression, but Creator, Stargate is on the way. At least thinking of it in a pretty timely fashion now. Sick. Okay, just simmer down over there. Investing in the future. Maru with 72 SCVs. Not too many, not too few. Going to be expanding outwards. He's still mining from the main, so we're at the times of plenty now. A scan. Does he... Wait. It was right on the edge, but doesn't quite spot the Stargate. Looking for the main army. Fleet beacon. Not a surprising follow-up, but a welcome one. A map being sliced. Dark Shrine. They're just going to fill in the tech tree here. 2 Stargates as Creator. Up in the ante. He has money. He doesn't have gas. Minerals are money and gas is gas. Everybody knows that. All right, that doesn't need to be explained. We don't mind still zoning out. Important to note, sensor towers are not detectors, and they will not see Dark Templar unless they are detected. So, but the wall of sensor towers is coming together. He only needs one more to literally have the entire half the map covered. And then the rest of the map is what the 8+ orbital commands are for. Nuclear missile. In production. Disruptor shot. Flung out. Dangerous force fields. Couple Tempests on the way. Tectonic destabilizers for that anti-building damage. We've got the building upgrades. High-sec auto-tracking and building armor. Ship weapons level 3. As Maru... the Liberators, of course. Creator may have a better opportunity to try to challenge them. But with the Scandinavia Vikings... The thing is, the Vikings are pretty good against the Tempests as well. Storm, historically and practically quite a good counter to Vikings, but they can be repaired, and Maru does such a great job of keeping things at bay. We're up to 10, going on 11-1 orbitals. Creator with 5,200 minerals in the bank. The income's dead even. So far, Creator has lost 4,000 more resources. We're mostly looking at the banks now. The unit composition. Creator has not built too many probes. 76 leaves him with a lot of army supply, but every base bar... Well, okay, sorry. Every base has been taken. Wait. Okay, every base bar 1 has been taken. There's a... We now have an Oracle, shield upgrade level 2, nuclear launch detected. I mean, he has to take an educated guess. Is there an observer? No. He's just gonna let it go. The Protoss never bothered him anyways. Oh, he didn't see it. Loses a Templar and the defenses, and with no observers on the army, the Ghost could even look for more. I think he's scanning to look for observers this whole time. The disruptors are popped easily. The Vikings around the top. And Maru finds an opportunity. The Vikings are pushing forward. And Creator warping in, but he's pretty much under the liberation zones as he does so. The Tempests are able to keep things at bay for now. Maru actually in full retreat. And it may look like an overreaction, but he won the fight. Right? Yes, he won the fight. And both resources lost and position, and taking out key parts of the unit composition. Maru, again, has lost a grand total of 8 starport units. He currently has 14 Vikings, 5 Liberators, and 6 medevacs on the field. So, maintain... You got a permit for that? Sarge, they're Protoss. They can't get permits. Well, that just sounds space racist, Sarge. No, it's... Billy, shut up. Well, the scan's making sure he sees anything coming close. 13 orbital commands. Can he break his record of 15? A nuke will be canceled. It flies off into the sunset to create a new one. Meanwhile, the Tempest, Mass Tempest, a few DTs will slip through into the mineral lines as Maru is concentrated on the other side. Though, I think this is the main focus of everyone involved. The Viking fleet over there. He recalls to where? The mothership? No. The Protoss army just kind of crumbling. The mothership will be knocked down and 3 volleys from the Vikings. The Liberators resieging. This base going to be annexed easily by Maru. 23 SCVs dead. A couple orbitals might die as the DTs are slicing their way through the infrastructure. And, well, Maru going to go home to clean up the domestic front. Awkward. Warp Prism was thinking about something. Another nuke. The Ghost. Not in vision. But there are... Well, the Armory might get sliced by a DT. The Nuke. Ghost gets eviscerated. Scans. And the Armory. Will he drop mules to repair it? No, he's a little busy. The Armory may burn before the +1 armor completes, which is a small victory for Creator, who still has a lot in the bank. Maru doesn't have that much in the bank, despite how it feels like he's winning every battle and the economic war. He doesn't have the massive bank you need in order to win a long-term war of attrition. Knocking the Tempest out of the sky, there's no way the Zealots are going to get the damage done here, though. Creator actually fighting into this. Well, the goat. There's so many ghosts. Vikings hit the deck. Well, it could be worse, but it certainly could be better. There's no detection for the ghosts, but they're not so great against the stalkers. Another massive warp-in. But again, the lack of detection is going to make those ghosts a lot better than you might expect. Of course, there's still 13 orbital commands, so any base with mineral patches will see Mount Mule be... Wow. Well. And Creator just exhausted his entire bank on Zealots, which is optimistic. They do charge a lot, and unfortunately, in every sense of the... Yep, they all just die. Creator just... holding down the Zealot key. And Maru survives. It was a little less clear-cut. He wasn't able... Though I don't think he ever lost... The only command centers he lost were to Dark Templar. Which is certainly something. But again, Maru just takes the entirety of his side of the map, locks it down, and squeezes. And Creator... Ooh, looking destroyed at the moment. That's what I came up with, all right? Please clap, like, and subscribe. Series looking more one-sided than a Mobius strip right now. Is Creator unable to come with it? I think the Tempests are better, but are they good enough? Maru, when he is able to get to this stage, part of the reason why the only Protoss player ranked higher than him, not to say another four-letter word, but hero, is able to go toe-to-toe and frequently win, is because, one, you can't predict what Hero's doing, and two, Hero will just hit you in the face somehow from behind you 2 miles away with a random attack at like the 6-minute mark. He's like, I got 3 Phoenixes. I got a Dark Templar. I've got 3 probes. Don't know, I accidentally rallied them. 2 sentries, 10 stalkers, and 0 fucks. Like, and that seems to be the way to take on Maru. And I want to, since this could be our last match, and at this rate, it seems like it may very well be. Shout out to the SC boys once again. You may have seen the Thunderfire All-Stars tournament from a couple weeks ago. This Rongyi Cup, Rongyi the sponsor, is put on by the SC boys as well. And they're going to have an offline finals where the winner of just the grand finals is going to be offline in a couple weeks. So I don't know if I'll be able to cast that live or from replay, but if you saw the Thunderfire All-Stars, I don't think it's going to be quite as dramatic a venue. It's not like a whole stadium. I think they have like a studio set up for it, but I think there's a very good chance we see one of these players there. What they've been doing. The Chinese scene is still quite... I don't know why I'm searching for a word. I'm searching for the right word, but exuberant comes to mind, even though that sounds dumb and like I chat GPT'd it. You're allowed to have a vocabulary without using chat GPT, all right? Believe it or not, people invented words, and now we're just having machines bastardize them for us. I came up with all these words myself. All by myself. And that's part of the problem. Shut up, Jimmy. What are words? And a lot of people in the comments say I have the best words. Very smart people. Because, you know, they're in the comments, so... Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. But now's not the time, nor the place, nor ever. I will keep coming up with my own words for better. Or alternatives. Twilight Council. Third time's the charm. Now, Blink Stalkers are the build. Blink Stalkers are the robo. The details, how many gates, when you build those gates, whether you're going for an all-in time. Like the Warp Prism last game for Creator, I think was good. It's just, he didn't quite bring together the rest of the army by the time Maru locked everything down. Do 2 Adept Speed a... If they just sit there, do 2 Adept Speed a Cyclone. The Cyclone will never just sit there, but I don't think so. Especially if it's allowed to lock on, even if it's just... He's just keeping tabs on it. Tech lab's on the way. Maru with his 3 racks, building kind of a wedge bulwark here to zone out Blink Stalkers. Already a siege tank completed. A single Widow Mine drop. Well, still dangerous. Blink's still pretty far off. Didn't invest too many chronos. Banshee. Uncloaked just a naked Banshee. Huh. Interesting. Creator building up. And Maru's pulling the boys. The Tacta boys coming along. Got 10 SCVs or so. Did the observer spot this? Well, the drop's coming in. I don't know if he saw it. The drop to distract. He just pokes in. He knows that Creator sees it. But Creator is very aware that shenanigans are afoot. Where is the army? Oh, he spotted the SCVs. He knew better than to blink on top of them. But gonna try to cut off the reinforcements. And this is an awkward start to the push here for Maru. Gonna lose a couple SCVs right off the bat. Obviously, you'd rather snipe off the siege tanks, but that's what the SCVs are for. An Immortal is done, though a little bit trapped by the Warping and Stalkers. Siege tank gonna be juggled with the Medevac. A Banshee just headed in to force out some anti-air. The siege tank's moving forward quickly, but the Immortal blasts through one of the siege tanks. Banshee's taken out of the sky, and Maru's push is getting picked apart rather quickly. There's still an Immortal. The couple Stalkers from the back. Maru swings the siege tank around to target the Stalkers in front. But it gets taken down. And Maru loses 10 SCVs. He loses both tanks. Another Banshee's on the way across. It's not getting much easier to break through. But 2 Immortals. He leads the charge with 1. Activates the barrier. Gonna blast through the tank. A lot of damage still being done by the Marines and the Banshee. But Maru will be stuffed at the door. And shoved back across the map. And look at the supply. 86 to 55 right now for Maru. It's a disaster. He committed. It wasn't... It was all in. He put all his chips on the table, and I don't think he did enough to justify it. He may have enough back at home to not die, but that's a far cry from winning. So 61 to 37 workers. A Banshee might be able to get a few probe kills as the shield battery is a little bit off-center. But Creator is in a very comfortable spot now. In fact, well, this is a bit dicey. He actually blocks the reactor. He's going to drop the Immortals in. He's not going to let Maru go. Needs to target the tech lab to deny stim. He gets it. And that barracks was a little off center. Moves it on over to the second tech lab. There's only a single siege tank in the main base. It will siege up. Creator doesn't quite see it. He sees it now, trying to blast through the second tech lab. Doesn't quite get it. Banshee's still going. Racked up 4 kills. Did he kill the... He killed a stalker with the Banshee. It must have been slightly out of range of the shield battery. Banshee's still going, is helping keep Maru alive at the front. As the Banshee keeps dragging units back, it's not dead. Which makes it an existential threat still to the economy. Like a strong gust of wind would take this thing out, but a couple stalkers will do. The simple fact is he had to warp in those stalkers and have them on the other side of the map and commit any amount of time and attention to dealing with it. So Maru now has the biggest army he's going to get for the rest of the game, more than likely. The boys, a few tactic boys pulled off the line. There is... Charge is complete. Storm is nearly done. Another warp prism ready at home. The charge lot's going to drop into the main base, and the economy's going to be gutted. There's no good options for Maru now. He can't stay. All right. Because it'll be trouble. But if he goes, that trouble might be twice as much. So should he stay or should he go? He has to go. 3 bases. Storm is done. The supply gap is obscene. 5 siege tanks and a couple liberators are quite a thing to behold. But the immortal GG Creator storms him out of the game. Before the fight even concludes, Maru knows which direction the wind is blowing. And he'll move on. He tried the timing. He failed. Creator, with a strong defense, pulled it all together. The stalkers cutting off the reinforcements, as well as picking apart the tank push. And Maru, when he gets aggressive, not finding nearly the success, is building up his defenses back at home. But Creator's on the board. Does he have momentum? Game number 4. Old Republic. Well, clear split. Maru commits. That is part of why Blink Stalkers are the default build. So many players, Maru especially, will go for the early timings. Well-controlled, very important, well-controlled Blink Stalkers. Blink Stalkers are like lightsabers, okay? I get what somehow that's a valid reference, but very hard to use well. But when you do, it both looks really good and is effective. But if you use it poorly, it might just be worse for you. Maybe you won't chop your own limbs off, but it'll be close enough. As they're a big investment, stalkers are not cheap. It's just the efficiency, especially until there's an overwhelming amount of stimmed bio or siege tanks, is unrivaled. Here we go again. Playing ring around the command center build location. Maru just slaps it down. I haven't had even. Chicanerous and deplorable. Oh, Billy, don't talk to the Protoss. Well, they can't say nothing. I wish you didn't, Billy. That's very rude, Sarge. Sorry, I blacked out for a moment. Concussive Shell Marauder. A spicy build Maru's mixing in here. Interesting. Usually something you see in a proxy Rex, but can potentially catch the early gateway units. Break their knees, hold them down for long enough to murder them. Second Rax is already on the way. Let's make that 3, eh? Engineering Bay. Maru trying another early pressure, as you don't usually go for 2 racks Marauder with concussive shell without some aggressive intentions. Adept Shade. Really +1 though. Interesting. Many players will prefer things like Combat Shield over getting the +1. Will Maru get a second tech lab? No, it's a reactor. Blink already on the way for Creator.
Hell, it's about time.
And a third command, sure. Throw it in there. It's a new one. Robo. Yeah, we've got the default. This is 4-gate. 4-gate blink for Creator. So, clearly looking to get aggressive. Though, Maru will not have a factory, nor a starport, most relevantly for Metavacs, for quite a while yet. So that means Blink Stalkers can be very effective. At the same time, he's going to have a lot more Marauders and Stim and +1 quicker than usual. So, the risk reward for Blink Stalkers is higher on either side of the equation right now. The Blink Stalkers could be game-endingly good, or just die immediately and then he has nothing. And much more polarizing than usual. And they're already quite dramatic unit in that sense. So the probes, a Spylon spotting for Metavacs, but there won't be any of those for quite a while. Warp Prism on the way out. A very quick +1. I'm not sure how that factors in. Or if it's better than having the combat shield. But already flipping over. Starport is on the way, but the Blink Stalkers are more than ready. Maru has no idea. He's in the dark right now. Come back to us. Anticipating the timing, he's splitting his forces because he knows when Blink Stalkers are a threat. He just doesn't know how much of one. The Blink into the bay. Knocks out a Marauder. Make that 2. Make that all 3. What a disaster to start. And Stim is done. Creator's realizing he bit off more than he can metaphorically chew. Blink's back. Already an incredible start. And, yeah, there's no reason he can't get on top of that bunker. 4 SCVs to repair. Not nearly enough. And, well, the Bioarmy. And now we're seeing why the lack of Metavacs can sometimes be call an ambulance. Territory. Yeah, another Marauder picked off, and the Marines and SCVs are not too much difficulty past that. Maru is bleeding out quickly on the field, and it may just end. Well, the boys pulled. The Warp Prism could be targeted. He pulls back. Maru micros and takes it out with those +1 Marines, which are a remarkable threat. So, the Marines getting shaved down. I'm very surprised Maru's still in the game at all, but gonna micro pass, try to take out the meta. There's no units. Okay, Maru. GG. Creator takes 2 in less than the time it took Maru to take either one. We're all tied up. 1 game between us. Sure, Maru dominates the late game, but getting there? That's more than half the battle. Creator wins the early game ones. And we're all tied up going to match point. Game number 5. Winner moves on, potentially to the offline finals in the $20,000 Rongyi Cup. And the loser, I assume, gets some prize, but not nearly as much. So, it also won't be moving on because that's how tournaments work. In case you're just catching up. Game 5. In the bottom left corner. One of the best Terrans of all time. We have Maru. And the most emotional, dramatic, and exciting Protoss. In the blue, it's Creator. Top right, Tourmaline will be the decider. Are you? He's scouting for proxy, of course. It is Maru. The risks are high at this stage. He will go all in. Maru has never shied away from proxy rexing in high-stakes situations. Or any stakes situations. Even if they're mistakes. Double gas. So, early tech to start. Maybe the most aggressive build so far, which has not gone great for Maru. Creator easily picking apart both attacks with Blink Stalkers almost before they started. So, there's a clear split. If Maru can survive the 200 supply, it looks like Creator has no chance. If Creator stops him, Maru just kind of keels over. A very, roller coaster match so far. But we'll see if it trends back up or if it keeps going down. Factory. Creator scouted close enough to see that Maru is mining from the second gas. He doesn't need to see the geyser to see the SCVs slapping those canisters back into the command center. It's going to be a Reaper. I think the first time this series. He's opted for the Reaper Scout early. Maybe a bit of an admission that Creator could do something crazy, or just to throw him off. This is, I'm pretty sure this hard wall's the Reaper jump. There's just a tiny little jump location in the back. See the indicators there that most map makers add nowadays. Very nicely, thank you. The Adept drives the Reaper away. We got Triple Reaper Hellion. Trying to keep things busy. Twilight Council's on the way. Shield battery to protect the natural. Command center for once on location. Still no starport out of Maru. Until. Still no starport. No, that's why, because he has to build a third command center, obviously. Duh. What am I thinking? You fiend. Building 2 command centers at once. 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions on the way across the map. And a shield battery is good, but it's not good enough to fight this directly. There's going to be 2 Adepts and a Stalker. Try to whittle it down. And, well, the shield battery makes the difference. Maru? That is a wall, right? If Creator messed this up, yeah, he tried to jump up. I think the Reapers weren't having it. They know, somehow, without seeing it. It's part of the path. There's literally no physical space to jump up there. Which is why they struggle. Second Rax. And number 3. Bit of a mixed bag here, following up with the Mass Rax. No starport, despite 250 gas out of Maru. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Just constant siege tank production. Siege tanks, despite their sacrifices, have been a staple so far. And the lack of them, a defining characteristic. See how long Maru goes without building a starport. Making sure he has all his infrastructure. Single Hellion trying to sneak by and spot for a third. We'll spot the Stalkers moving out. Was there a prism? Yes. On the way across. Creator has favored this more aggressive blink, and it's paid off the last couple games. So we'll see if he can get a payment yet again. Still no starport, as Maru bunkering down in the most literal sense against the Stalkers. Bunker siege tank though, blunks forward, SCVs will repair. Gets only a single shot on the Blink Stalkers as they come in. And Maru in a precarious position. He still has enough bio to potentially stall this out. Another siege tank on the way. The Warp Prism providing vision. It's an awkward place to blink in. Despite the add-ons being so clearly vulnerable, he kept the SCVs on the line, making sure that bunker can't be sniped off, because if he loses it, it could be the whole series, despite those first games. Siege tank in position to cut off any blinks and potentially be out of vision to bait them in. Creator is taking a third base behind this, but remember, Maru already had a third command center done. Of course he did. And still no starport. We're 6 minutes in. This is, well, who needs starports? It doesn't have stim, nor combat shield. 1-1 is on the way. Maru has so much in the mail right now, but it hasn't yet been delivered. He'll build 2 more racks, 4 and 5 in production before the starport. Back at home, Robo Bay out of Creator. Charge, 5 more gateways, building up to that 8 count. The full production on 3 bases. The Blink Stalkers dancing back. Flirting with the idea of taking out that bunker, but not yet committing. And finally, the starport will begin. Like 6 minutes and 15 seconds into the match. And the starport is such a critical part of the mid to late game, but having just the sheer boots on the ground in the early game seems to be Maru's priority. A single SCV contracted. The Reaper, surviving Reaper Hellion, will actually get by into the main base, and no force field, no shield battery in the main. He's actually going to get some kills here. 2. Not great, not terrible. I mean, getting 5 probes on units that I assumed already died is certainly not bad. The depot's coming together. Maru moving out to take his third, and this is probably the most... Oh, lag. Get him out. And, ready. Everybody's ready. So it looks like one of the observers was lagging. And speaking of observers, no, a scout, no, Creator, no! Oh, that's a heartbreaker, considering all of the context. He may have lost track of his immortal and the rally point while being... That's very rough. I mean, one immortal is not going to make or break, but it could. And the timing is certainly uncomfortable, considering the lag spike there. But we press on. The Stalkers dive forward. Maru has to know this is a potential bait and switch. But still, dragging everything out of position. Gets a couple Stalkers with it. The charge launch. Looking to sneak in. And we'll dive forward onto the siege tank. A force field, a bit optimistic. The boys are pulled off the line. The 4th command center is in position to make this difficult to maneuver. A Guardian Shield, very helpful. Targets down the Widow Mines. Will still cost a few more charge lots to the bio, but Maru. A single siege tank, and the bio army is struggling to heal it all up. The medevacs are draining energy very quickly. Creator has a 4th base as well. Comes in again. Blunks forward, knocks out the siege tank. The boys are pulled around the depots. Extended thermal lance is done. The charge lock count, but the bio army is rolling over the field. A Colossus being targeted will be toppled. And the gateway units as well. Creator a little too deep. And behind it, he hasn't even done with 2 forges? Oh no. Maru's going to have 2-2 upgrades. It's going to be a 4 upgrade advantage on bio. That is too much. If the armies are anywhere close to comparable, and Maru actually has more right now, you don't even need Vikings. He'll build them anyways, but the factory over top of the crate, yeah, you want to be next. The Vikings to zone out the prism, because that is the biggest risk to Maru right now. Is a backstab of a dozen charge lots at his main base. That is something that could undercut, but Creator has abandoned, well, for a while he abandoned tomorrow in hopes of today being strong enough to take out Maru. But unfortunately, the time has passed. Night falls, and he has to survive a Maru who already has the infrastructure that he needs. He has reactored starport pumping Vikings. He has 2-2 upgrades done. Could start 3-3 momentarily. He has 4 bases with 10 more workers. The upgrade advantage is obscene at this stage. 2 Templar archives on the way for Creator. That's how important it is to him. And he doesn't really have the money to afford that kind of mistake. I mean, you're 1 game from taking on Maru. Unfortunately. Well, the Bio Army. Maru microing back the Vikings. And the Marauders splits the Marauders out in front, where they can absorb the thermal lances much easier, especially with those armor upgrades. The Marines at the back getting so much DPS. Maru carves open a 50 supply lead, though 2 Colossi still standing tall. 1-1 upgrades done. But Creator doesn't have any distinct advantages. It's just getting easier for Maru to build the right unit composition. He's almost at that 200 supply. He's past the threshold of vulnerability and entered the era of strength. And now the Marauders out in front, deliberately absorbing the Colossus fire, though will be incinerated. The Vikings still finding success, just targets the Prism, gets a Colossus, make that 2. And Creator might get a bite of the Vikings on the way out and take out many of the Marauders. But Maru's production, it continues unchecked. Scans to the north. Does he see? He assumes the base on the right. I'm not sure he knows about the one in the bottom right, though a poorly timed transfer may end up giving him that information. Does he have a fusion core? He does not. Not quite yet. But the bio. And see, oh no, he's going to see those probes going to the bottom right corner, so now he's been notified. A recall onto the base, but I think that's just going to send him to the bottom right, where he clearly saw those probes. He draws out the recall. Fusion core begins. 3-3 upgrade's going to finish before Creator has 2-2. The probes, there's no getting out. They are coming. Creator is crumbling across the board. Few stalkers in the center trying to micro back. Good luck with that. And Maru, I think, waiting till 3-3 completes, but he's maxed out. He knocks out the Nexus and 15 probes with it. And he just has to lock the game down now. Scans. Only 4 orbital commands. But, oh no, sweet Liberty. Once again, the overlapping line of liberation. Maru's bio cutting through the charge lots. The Archons no match. Reinforcements. Liberators. The Stalker count. Now there's a lot of splash damage, but wait! There's more. 14 probes and the 4th base dead. And Creator might be able to win this battle, but he's certainly losing the war. There's a planet he has to go forward. There's no going back. The Stalkers, this is it. Everything he can warp in. Maru stimming into the 3rd base. The rest of the economy is gone. He's just gonna try to smash the planetary, but the boys are pulled off the line. The Stalkers are barely enough to take out a Liberator. The planetary will hold. The Protoss will not. Maru, decisively, yet just barely, takes the series 3 games to 2. It certainly didn't feel that way, but Creator making good on that early micro. And not even stealing away, just solidly defending. Maru, now, I think it feels like that because Maru chose to do early aggression in 2 of the games, and it didn't work out. And the games he didn't, or didn't commit, well, here we are. Creator doing a slight variation of the similar style each game, while Maru choosing a whole lot of different pathways, and eventually finding one to total success. So thank you again to the SC boys for another incredible tournament. I'm looking forward to more and more games from it. What an experience. I hope you enjoyed and felt as strongly as I did, or at least some fraction of it. And if you got the means and motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. Thank you to our Mule Tier patrons, Big Jake and Devin, Dor, Kate, Mario, super glad you still enjoy. And to everyone, make sure to check out this video Jimmy picked out just for you. And I'll see you next time. Good luck, have fun, thank you for watching. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.